We're live outside the University Avenue Courthouse, where an appeal hearing began this morning. It has a judge being accused of bias, a restitution order up in the air, and has a sexual assault survivor facing the possibility of once again taking the stand.
I did everything that was expected of me. I reported to the police. I was honest, and now I have to potentially do it all over again.
A sexual assault conviction could be overturned in the case against Mustafa Ururyar. Last year, Ururyar was found guilty of sexually assaulting fellow York PhD student Mandy Gray. But the defense claims the trial judge was biased, and they're also appealing the order that had their client paying $8,000 to cover some of Gray's legal bills.
I don't think the judge was biased. Do I think that the judge was overzealous? Do I think the judge presented an unorthodox legal judgment? Absolutely. Do I think he was biased? Absolutely not.
The appeal court heard that the trial judge, Justice Marvin Zuker, wrote a 55-page judgment on the offender's sentencing before hearing submissions from the defense. He was also criticized for a lengthy judgment he wrote for the July conviction, the defense saying it regurgitated much of the evidence but didn't provide any analysis. In response, appeal judge Justice Michael Demrett had some strong words for the judge, calling his conduct troubling and saying, quote, "With all due respect to the trial judge, it's a lazy way to deal with it."
But really, this comes down to the trial judge. Did he err in his judgment?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I think it's the opposite end of what we saw with the Justice Camp, for example, who made discriminatory remarks about a complainant. Now we have a judge who is an established expert in sexual assault, and now we have lawyers arguing that he just knows too much about sexual assault.
This rally was held before the hearing began to show the true costs that survivors pay after a sexual assault. Gray says 156 of them answered a survey saying they've spent a total of $7 million of their own money. This comes as the defense and Criminal Lawyers Association argue that Gray's legal bills should not be paid.
When it comes to legal fees, they're not expressly called for under the criminal code. So this case is about a statutory interpretation of whether the restitution provisions would cover legal costs.
There's no question that women who seek counseling or therapy can seek restitution for those costs. And reaching out to a lawyer is no different than reaching out to a therapist or a counselor, in the sense of it's a form of support that many survivors find very helpful and in fact critically important.
As part of that survey, on average, almost $14,000 in lost tuition was calculated per survivor. 71% say they've paid $8,000 in therapy.
Calculated like $1,000 every month since the rape for having to deal with the emotional trauma, which comes to $24,000 already. And that doesn't include, driving back and forth between counseling, my unemployment, the emotional cost of having to give my police statement.
The Crown is arguing that an appeal must look at the entire case and not just the end of the trial. Gray says if this conviction is overturned, she would never testify again.
It's not worth it. I don't have another 2 years to take off of my life to keep doing this.
Ururyar will remain out on bail until the judge hands down his decision. That's set for this coming June.